And we're live. Hello, everybody. Hello, Chewman.
Here we are once again. I'm in this grungy looking room right now with this poor quality camera. So, here I am.
It looks like a background, and it's just some like creepy side room in a Romanian orphanage.
This is the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Hey, happy Skull and Bones Day to you.
Oh, what a fantastic day. And it's also Donald Day, by the way, for every
Yeah,
person named Donald. So, yeah.
International Donald Day.
So Donald Trump, happy your day.
That's for you, Donald Duck. What other
Donald
famous
Duck.
Donalds are there? There's probably more.
Ronald McDonald,
Yeah, McDonald.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
it's got
sure.
Donald in the name.
We'll throw him
Ronald.
in. Why not? But happy Skull and Bones Day. It's Skull and Bones Day because it is March
322.
22nd.
Oh, yeah.
322.
They love
Um,
those, They love 311, 322,
they do.
It's too bad there's not 33 days in a month. That would make that one.
Yeah.
That would
Well,
be
then it would be April 2nd, right?
yeah, it would be.
Yeah, you could just do that. That's fine.
I guess you could.
So, in case anyone is not familiar, there is a secret society in the United States. It is at Yale University, and it is called Skull and Bones. And we're going to talk about that tonight because it is 322. This is Skull and Bones Day. And it also happens to be this year a palindrome 32223.
Ooh, it's a lot of threes and twos.
And yet nothing happened today.
I know, man. It's
We were
kind of
texting a little
disappointing.
bit today, be like, hey,
Yeah, I was waiting for like a financial crisis, like the banks collapsing, or Donald Trump getting arrested, or some type of false flag. But nothing, it's nothing.
yeah,
Just
did you want
California
to
being
talk about
flooded.
do you want to talk about that for a second? The whole Donald Trump arrest sort of
Oh,
story?
such a joke, man. We live in such a clown world, bro. Such a clown world. Like, just it's so stupid, man. The more you just see the craziness, like he just made it up for what it seems like, just to kind of get publicity and kind of go against DeSantis or whatever for this whole republic. It's such a show. It's such a show.
There apparently was something because there was some sort of information that something was canceled. So there was something. It sounds like it's one of those they gave courtesy. And I wonder if part of it is the Secret Service. I wondered how that was supposed to roll out because Secret Service is technically some sort of enforcement from the Treasury. That's where like part of its charter is, I believe. And so then the question is, what do you do if the president? It's never happened. What happens if the president gets arrested?
Yeah.
Is the Secret Service going to fulfill their oath and protect? I don't know.
That's what we yeah, you have a little skirmish, a little war, Secret Service popping off against the NYPD or whatever.
Stranger Things, I suppose.
That would be a good
Stranger
movie.
Things. It would be.
Like,
Oh, there you
that'd be a
go.
great, that'd be a great movie, man. You have like these like rogue Secret Service. They're like diehard Trump fans. They're like, no, we took an oath to Trump, and they're like going out. They got like their little miniguns.
That'd be crazy. That'd be nuts.
This is a total side note, man. But I gotta say, did I ever tell you the best? If anyone takes it and makes a movie, hopefully they give me credit. But a great movie idea.
What's that?
The movie idea would be it's about guardian angels. So
Okay.
they're twin brothers, and the twin brothers both have a guardian angel. But one of the guardian angels is like the top notch angel. He's always protecting his guy. He's always like doing everything he can. Right? It's like let's say the angel is whoever the actor is for Captain America. What's his name? Who's Captain America?
Oh, why is it out of my head right now? But yes,
Chris. Yeah,
Chris
whatever.
Evans.
Chris
One
Evans.
of the Chris's. Yeah.
Right? Just like this perfect, whatever. And then the other twin brother, he's got a really lazy guardian angel. He's always like sleeping in, and it's Jack Black, and that brother's always like missing the bus or things are happening to him. And the whole movie is like, why does one brother have better luck than the others? Because the guardian angel's another realm. One has a really good one, and it's just a silly movie. Just so you guys know.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, I was muting because all of a sudden someone came up and then the dog started going nuts.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I saved you all from the
dogos.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That would be
random.
pretty good.
Dude, if Hollywood needs some help, that's a good movie for them. Some original ideas,
There you go. We'll write it up. We'll send it out. I wanted to go first to Wikipedia, and you can say what you want about Wikipedia, but what they do is they tell you what you're supposed to know about a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good place to go at first. Let me zoom in here just a wee bit here. Hopefully we can see a little bit better. Want the skull in there. But ooh, pop up. So what we have here, Skull and Bones. It does exist, and notice this: it's in 33 languages. That's just,
of course, how convenient.
Yeah. But this is a secret society. What's different from between this and other secret societies that people may talk about, whether it's the Illuminati or what's another one, the Masons, any of those. This is specifically at Yale University. So this is meant to really capture the young bucks, as they're rising through the ranks. And Trinity's here, so we can finally start. We're now officially starting here. We're 5 minutes, 52 seconds in, we're starting.
Yep.
So this is secret society at Yale University. Now there's other secret societies at Yale. Yale's one of the oldest schools in the country, has one of the longest histories. Oh, Mike Porter.
Hey,
can't stay long.
It's good that you're here, though.
Dude, yeah. East Coasters. If you're an East Coaster and you hop in here.
Man, I'm tired right now. Man, that is respect.
Respect. Well, we understand, Mike. I understand totally. So Skull and Bones, or it's also called Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death, which I think I would want that on my
sounds like a biker gang. These
business
people are
card.
Silly, man.
I know, but it was still cool, like in the 1800s when it was set up. So
I know. Hey, but what as being like when you're Bush or John Kerry and you're like, yeah, I was in the Skull and Bones, the Brotherhood of Death. I want to be the president. Wait, we have the president of the United States, and he was in a club that was the Brotherhood of Death.
Absolutely. So you can see here, it was established in 1832. I'll just read real quick here. It's an undergrad senior secret society, secret student society at Yale University in Connecticut, the oldest senior class society at the university.
That's crazy old if you think about it.
It is
1832, man.
It is for the U.S. That's for sure. Yeah. Things were still very much being established at that point for the United States. Skull and Bones has become a cultural institution known for its powerful alumni and various conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories.
It's gonna trigger MK Ultra.
It's one of the big three societies. So one of the big three. The other one, Scroll and Key. The other is Wolf's Head. We're not going to talk about those.
Oh, those parts who never get enough light.
I know. No one ever talks about them, which
they always get overlooked. I bet you the people that are in those other ones are like, hey, we do cool stuff too.
We're all so scary.
Why does Skull and Bones get all the publicity?
I know. Sorry. Hey, hope you feel better. Mike says he's got a cold. Yeah. It's late. That always makes staying up late even worse. That's for sure. So just going into the history here, this is again, so this is older than 21st century, older than 21st century or 20th century. This goes way back. Right. So this is a old association. The number, I wanted to look at this here, but the number 322 appears on Skull and Bones insignia, is widely reported to be a significant year of the Greek orator Demosthenes' death. And so that's what they bring a lot of things in from history, from literature, some other things. Another legend is on the emblem 322 is founded in 32 Second Corps, referring to the First Corps being at a unknown German university. So that's one of the other things, is that this is sort of a like rebirth of an older secret society that exists in Germany, which is where they get this Brotherhood of Death kind of connection.
Always Germany, man. Always
bringing it back. Yeah, I mean, we should do a deep dive at some point on Germany and the Holy Roman Empire and all those types of things. That would be pretty crazy.
Going on.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff there, but and you can see there's a lot of information here on Wikipedia, which is kind of surprising because this up until early 2000s, this was still kind of a not well-known sort of thing, right? I did want to pull out a couple of things from here. Also, crooking. I just found this interesting. Skull and Bones has a reputation for stealing keepsakes from other Yale societies. So I just want to point this out. There's enough secret societies around for them to have like games between each other, like long-standing traditions of stealing things from each other. This is more than just 2 secret societies or 3 secret societies that just hang out there. There's like history where they overlap with each other and do these different things. Just thought that was interesting. But so they steal things from each other, but the society's been accused of possessing stolen skulls, which I guess is in keeping with their theme. Skull and Bones. Of Martin Van Buren, 8th president. Geronimo. Yeah.
Whoa.
And Pancho Villa.
So, interesting. So
yeah, look at that.
They have their skulls. Why do they have their skulls?
Well, they are Skull and Bones, and this seems like the other secret societies had them, and they stole them from them. So I don't know what more than that.
A whole bunch of grown children that are running around the world playing games like this.
They probably didn't have intramural, ultimate frisbee at the time, so this was what they had to do.
And this is the best way I try to tell people that don't agree or believe in like the conspiracy theory ideas of the secret societies, right? But these people went to college and like they understand the fraternity and the sororities. I'm like, okay, those are secret societies, right? They put you through initiation, and that always is something really traumatic or doing something twisted or something humiliating to then initiate you into this society where you are brothers and sisters in this group. Like obviously sororities and fraternities aren't as serious, but that's what Skull and Bones really is. It's a fraternity, it's at a college, and that's what they do. But then these people go out of college and they have these connections and they're secretive and they do things to screw people that are not in that group.
Yeah, exactly.
Mind blowing for people to comprehend.
Yeah, it's one of these things that's just if it's built into that, and I think that's become the joke, right? I almost was going to clip this. It was the little scene from Monsters Inc. It's the sequel to Monsters Inc. Monsters University, where they actually mock it, obviously, because it's funny and it's supposed to be lighthearted, but they initiate them into the fraternity, and so they're all standing with black robes, and they like, light sort of razzing and what do they call it, hazing. But it's just kind of this thing that's sort of underlying, like if you've gone, like you're saying, you've gone to university, it's a lot like these different things. So there's a lot of different rituals of humiliation and things like that, and those of course come from other organizations like the Masons and the Illuminati and some other groups where they have these initiation rituals where there is a humiliation that's a big part of that. You stand and do this public humiliation, but then you're part of a brotherhood, so or a sisterhood. That's also another one.
Well, I like the connection between that and then what happened with the whole pandemic, the whole idea of initiation of society going into a new paradigm per se, because like the initiations to a secret society, how it would go down would be you get isolated away from your whatever living situation you were. They then they take your identity away, put a mask on you, put you through something traumatic, and then they bring you out the other side into this new life. You're a new creation in this organization or this fraternity or this brotherhood. And that's what happened with the pandemic, right? They isolated us, they traumatized us, they made us literally put a mask on, so take your identity away, to then have us come into this new society where they're going to try to implement digital ID, 15-minute cities, all of this, Orwellian 2030 agenda, EF, economic form, all that stuff. You know it. So I just like that tie though of the initiations of a secret society with what happened to us as a society as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think people really understand how big a deal that can be. The people don't realize that they're a part of rituals when they really are. These sorts of things, they sound fantastical, and sometimes you start talking about it, they go, okay, but it's true. There are things that you can see, this manipulation of society where they're using some of these same principles for that. I wanted to show a clip, and this clip is from Meet the Press. in 2004. And let me add it up here so you can kind of see it here. But this is it's actually two clips. It's put together. This is where Skull and Bones all of a sudden entered the general lexicon, from what I can remember.
And didn't this guy die not too long after, the reporter?
4 years later, he died. Yeah.
All right.
So
he also doesn't look very healthy, so I can't.
Yeah. And just as a setup, that it starts with an interview with Bush, and then it goes to an interview with Kerry. So it's just kind of clipped together. So they're going to run together. I'm going to let them play, and then we'll stop it and we'll talk for a second here. But this is where Skull and Bones all of a sudden makes prime time. So
you were both in Skull and Bones.
Can you hear it?
Oh, I can.
You can? Good. Okay. Just want to make sure. Sorry, everybody. We'll start it over again. This is live.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest.
Number 322.
First of all, he's not the nominee, and look, I look for.
Are you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, a secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it.
All right. So I wanted to play those clips because this was so shout out and credit to Tim Russert. Tim Russert, rest in peace. He did die 4 years after this interview. I believe it was from cancer. So, if someone wants to jump into the conspiracy on viral cancer and its use in assassinations, that's not this show.
We gave him the cancer shot, They shot him.
Yep.
They just kicked in.
So, but what was discussed here, this is what is so crazy. So this is 2004. This is the leading up to the election. You had George W. Bush running, John Kerry, and he mentions it there. Oh, he's not the nominee yet. Okay. Well, he was eventually. So you had them running, and it's nuts because both of them are bonesmen.
Yeah.
And Tim Russert is trying to talk about these implications. So there's a couple things going on. So one, he says, what does that mean for America?
It means that you guys are under, I guess you guys are under control.
Yeah. There's a control here.
No matter what, one of a bonesman is going to run the country, and no matter what, and it's. But people just people don't care, man. That's what's sad. People are like, okay, well, that's cool.
Now the thing is that both of them, and this is what there's actually a clip after this. We're not gonna play it because it's part of this longer podcast or whatever it was a radio broadcast that he was a part of. After that, but he talks about the fact that he was trying to see if either of them would break their oath. So the oath is that you cannot reveal any information at all whatsoever about Skull and Bones. And so he was going to ask them to see if they might divulge something and anything. You could have even gone into a light sort of explanation. Oh, this is all we did. We did this thing. We did this thing. None of that. Both of them go, nope, not going to talk about it.
Yep.
So the question then becomes, and I think this is why Tim Russert's question comes up after this. What does this mean for America? Because you have two individuals who are both part, and they weren't there at the same time, right? So Kerry's older, so he was already out before Bush came in. But the fact that both of them have taken oaths, and apparently oaths to the point where they will not break them. Now, this is also national TV? Is this appropriate? And I'll tell you what, if he started asking other questions, the things that go on in Skull and Bones are definitely not appropriate for network TV.
Nah,
Not appropriate for YouTube.
not at
Not
all.
appropriate from anywhere.
Not appropriate for humans in
For
general.
humans, yeah. But the rituals that go on there have been recorded. There are people who have witnessed them, who have written them down. But the whole point is that if these two have gone through and taken these oaths, if either of them get into the presidency, either of them get into that Oval Office, what does that mean for America? Does that mean that there is a group that supersedes their oaths that they would take as president of the United States?
And not to mention, man, secrets are never good. Like when usually when there's a secret, it's because it's like, you know, if someone's whispering, right, and they're talking, it's like a secret. It's nothing like, it's not a compliment. You know, if you walk by someone, they have a secret about you, and they're whispering to somebody else. It's not like they're whispering, "Oh man, he's looking real good today." It's like, no, it's always something bad. You know, it's so them holding secrets is on the surface really bad. Like, okay, why is it secretive? What are you hiding? Like a kid holds a secret when they're guilty of something bad. Like right then and there, everyone should be like, we ain't voting for any of these guys. We need to get to the bottom of what's going on. But no, you know, let's just keep it rolling.
And that is part of the difficult thing, which is the idea of the secret society, the idea of the fraternity, the idea of this sort of thing. If this is so embedded in the educational institutions, how do we make sure that someone doesn't have some allegiance that somehow would make it difficult for them to actually execute their oaths as president? This was something that came up in the 60s, or I guess maybe it was in the 50s, during the campaign for JFK. JFK was Catholic, and we think like, what's the big deal? But the point is that he, as a Catholic, was beholden to the Pope. That's what they presented out there. This, of course, it's politics. So you're going to put the most negative spin possible, but this actually did pop up in political discussion. What if the Pope puts something out that says something should be done? If he's a devout Catholic, is he going to follow that or follow the Constitution of the United States? This was a real question that people were worried about at the time. You can actually go back and look at some of the things from the time from these different campaigns.
He wasn't a devout Catholic. Him and Marilyn Monroe.
I don't know. Maybe they got married. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the point was, can we trust this guy? And maybe that's politics, but it does bring up a very interesting question, because what if we did have this sort of, and we could go into the history of the concept of the Manchurian candidate, someone who's been prepared and groomed and put into a place where they're supposed to execute a plan once they get there. That's sort of like it's a movie plot because it was a movie, but that's a real concern, and it should be a concern. Does someone else who comes in who's made promises or oaths or contracts or whatever else, should they be president of the United States?
Well, right. It's like George George Washington's gravestone. It says Freemason and then the president. Like, what comes first? The Masons first, not the president.
Yeah.
You know, that's their oath. That's their brotherhood.
It's a good question. And so a lot of them will say, well, it's the fraternity. It's what we do. You know, that's how you get ahead. And truly it is one of the easiest ways to fast track yourself in either political life or maybe an industry is to join something like this, to be able to kind of put yourself ahead. Well, once you do that, what kind of compromises do you now have in your background to where, I don't know, Trinity brings up in quotes, unit, core, God, country, and then apologizes because he's been watching A Few Good Men. So yes, exactly. So it's funny. Military is a very public sort of fraternity, if you want to put it that way, right?
You're right. It's open, kind of like an open one.
And then you can even say just not even secret societies at a university, but just going to university. If you show up and it's like, I went to the same school as you, does that give you a sort of a step up? Do you
Yep.
now?
It sure for sure does.
So those
Yeah.
are the questions that, I think a lot of people are kind of comfortable with some of those affiliations because that's kind of because they dip into that pot too.
Well, it's
Right?
like the
Everybody kind
idea
of
of
does that.
it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
And I mean, that's the takeaway of this whole show. It's the highlight. This entire construct of society is ran first off by the prince of the power of the air. That's Satan himself. And how does he use that? He uses the constructs of men. And one of those constructs is secret societies. And there's different types, right? Like when people think, oh, just Masons, Masons are a big one, but there is so many different secret societies. And that's also another thing that because people have a hard time thinking about conspiracies like, oh, wait, so there's one group of people, the Illuminati, and they control everything. That sounds silly. It's like, in reality, there's all of these different secret societies which are actually warring against each other. And
Right.
they're doing like there's not a common I mean, spiritually there is with Satan and his kingdom, but when it comes to the human level, they're like look at the Skull and Bones with the other two organizations, and they're stealing stuff and they're kind of going after each other. That's how secret societies are operating. You have like Knights Templar, and the Jesuits, and you have the Bilderberg group, all these different groups, and some of them mingle with each other, but they're all like kind of and that kind of gets into the Anon conspiracies, right? The white hats and the black hats, right? People are like, oh, the good secret societies, the guys that are good, and they're the white witches, the white warlocks, and then you have the black magic guys, right, and all that stuff. But this main point of this show is just to point out, guys, like we are controlled by people that take an allegiance to something, not to us. They don't have our best interest at all. They have secret oaths, and they have to uphold to those oaths, and they cannot have your best interest at heart genuinely. They just don't.
Yeah. And at one point it was a little bit more public. We say secret society, more so that the society, like the things that go on in there were secret, but the actual existence of the secret society was not in question. So in fact, they would publish rosters from the membership of Skull and Bones every year. They would publish these things, and so this is a record of this. They stopped doing that in 1982. Why do you think they stopped doing it in 1982? It's probably getting a little too hot for those things. So looking at this, you have all the way back to the founders of these things. So you look like some of these men went on to be the ambassador to Austria and Hungary, Russia, William Howard Taft.
Wow.
Or should say the father of William Howard Taft.
Which
as you go through, I'm sorry.
I said, which is even more impressive.
Yeah, right. Yeah, his dad was there. The U.S. Supreme Court Justice, Secretary of State, Attorney General, Senator. I mean, these are not, small positions.
Go all the way to the very last one that they have.
Let's see here.
A lot of people. There's a lot of.
There's a lot here, right? And there's some names where you go like, oh, that seems familiar. Like, oh, Heinz.
Oh yeah, interesting.
Which
Heinz
is also
Company.
funny because John Kerry married into the Heinz family, so you have it from both sides. But
I see a Bundy.
Yep,
Bundy's
in here.
That'd be a fun topic to go into, the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati.
We'll get there. Maybe we'll see if we can get Gary Wayne to.
That'd be a good one.
Come talk about that. That'd be fun. 50s, 60s. So you see, the information starts to get kind of grouped in here. But here's the last one here.
Interesting.
President of Black Enterprise. I don't even know what that is.
I don't know either.
Founder of ESL Investments, Sears Holding Corporation, Dana Milbank, political reporter for the Washington Post.
Every single one of them goes on to be something very important.
Yes. They're no slouches. And the idea is you don't go in and request. You are tapped. Someone taps you on the shoulder to join.
And that's part of the deal. The world system rewards its own, and that's part of this. You join that secret society because when you're a follower of Christ, bro, you can't do that. You have an allegiance to Christ, and that's the thing. As a Christian, that's why you're kind of like you're stuck at a level where you're not going to be able to succeed in this world if you're going to be a actual follower of Christ, right? You're going to actually, seek Him, because you can't compromise. Like, these people are compromised. every one of these individuals is compromised because they've taken an oath and allegiance to the world over to the creator.
Yeah, and a lot of the methodology is that in order to enter, there's the humiliation, some of those different rituals or rites, or
Get
the
blackmail
hazing.
on you.
The what?
Get blackmail on you too.
Exactly. And that's the thing is, you have blackmail on them, they have blackmail on you, and it's insurance, right? But
Yeah.
that means that you're not going to betray them, because then they'll put all the stuff out and make it public.
Well, that's where a lot of the pedophilia stuff comes from too, or the a lot of the gay stuff too. They blackmail them with that.
Yeah, and it may not be because it may just be an embarrassment to their family. They're like, hey, if you do this, we're going to send this to your mom. It's like,
Yep.
do you want that? So there's a lot of manipulation there.
Or the fear of death and execution too, I'm sure.
Yeah, or threats to family or things in that way. A lot of these oaths are taken that way. Absolutely. So this article here that I'm showing, it's titled "The 13 Most Powerful Members of Skull and Bones," which is obviously subjective, but this was from 2015. So this isn't like something that popped up today, but this is after that. So, and I wonder if there were some in politics that wanted to kind of push and go after Bush because of it. But they had to be careful because they have their own people. So again, you gotta be careful. But they give some other highlights here. 1832, Yale students, including future President William Howard Taft's father, founded one of America's most famous secret societies. That is a funny thing to say, but most of the famous secret society, Skull and Bones. But it gives this detail here. Each year, only 15 juniors are tapped or chosen for lifetime membership in the club. There is no getting out. Once you're in, you're in. The windowless building on 64 High Street, the Tomb, fitting with the theme, Skull and Bones, serves as the club's headquarters. The roof is a landing pad for a private helicopter. According, that's some amenities there. According to Alexandra Robbins' book, The Secrets of the Tomb. And so you've got some things. We got, look at this handsome guy here, Howard Taft. Wasn't President Taft? Wasn't he like the fattest president we've ever had?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. There we go.
Just that he was a glutton. That's just that pretty much showing.
They're all given nicknames.
Magog. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Taft also received the honorary title of Magog. What's interesting is Magog was also George W. Bush's name.
Interesting.
So apparently they reused the names, but you got to wonder why some of these things happen. But the thing is that you have these different folks place, and this article goes through, like it said, 13 of the most influential people who've been a part of Skull and Bones. Astrophysicists, Supreme Court justices. There's Bundy. That's who you're.
Yeah, Bundy.
Before becoming one of JFK's wise men, Bundy may have relied on his big brother to help him get into Skull and Bones. So it's not just a fraternity; it's also a family thing too. So, and his name was Odin. So there you go. So, so it's one of those kind of open secrets that people on campus would kind of know some of the things that they were doing. Involves rituals around a coffin, and you have to get into a coffin, and terrible things being done, other types of stuff. So, but yeah, so in light of all those things, I wanted to play one other clip. So let me set this up here. I have to do this thing and stop this, do this other part here.
Do your magic over there.
Yeah, the things
you
can't. Yeah. Things you can't see me doing on this side here,
but looking at some screen or something.
I'm looking off screen somewhere. So one of the presidents, I mentioned him earlier, President Kennedy. He actually came out. He has a pretty famous speech that he put out there. Yeah, you can see the top. He put out a speech talking about some of the stuff. So I wanted to play some of it. It's actually a little bit more difficult to find than it was at one point. Usually I would put in Kennedy, Secret Society speech, it'd pop right up. I couldn't actually find it on YouTube. I had to go to Rumble, but we'll see. I want to to test this to see if the audio is going to work. So we'll do that, and then and sorry, there's a music bed, so I can't do anything about it. There's music that's going to play. It's quiet, but give me a thumbs up if you can hear.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I can hear it.
the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control.
I want to pause there just for a second. Right there, just the fact that he says, hey, we are traditionally opposed to secret societies is, I think, something that, why would you bring that up in a speech, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely is speaking as though it's something important. It's something that he wants to get out, definitely towards the end of his life as he was giving speeches. The way that he was speaking, he was definitely talking about something else. Kennedy was intended to be a controlled man.
Mm-hmm.
They thought that he was just some rich playboy that if they let him, indulge in his vices, he would do what he was told. But that does not seem to be the case.
It was really his brother Robert that kind of did a lot of it, though, right? From what I understand,
He did it as well.
He's kind of the brains that really kind of helped, because Kennedy didn't have much health, from my understanding.
Yeah, he was not. Yeah. And I think one of the things that he was really pointing out there is, as far as he had the ability, he was going to do what he could to oppose these secret societies. And I think we've kind of lost sight of that there's a threat there. There's a threat of these secret societies in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
And I think too many people have gotten to the place where they just label it conspiracy, and it's we'll go over that right after, but let's play a second part of the clip here.
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed.
Just to point out real quick, one of the things that he keeps bringing up is this idea that what keeps it secret is its inability to be scrutinized into the public, right? So this is it's purposely not put in newspapers. It's not talked about on TV. It's not talked about on radio. It's not brought up in these different places. That's specifically what he's bringing up. This is the only way that you can keep these things secret, because you would normally rely on people exposing these things, so at least it can be dealt with in the light. So in the 60s, we had this massive ramp up of media and media control and perspective in the media, and he's basically saying, like, if we continue to conceal these things, it's going to allow it to grow and to spread.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll continue here.
field. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding.
It's so crazy that a president said all this, and then like everyone's like, okay, yeah, like, it's just, you know, it's so crazy.
Did you hear the statement that he gave? I'm going to play it again.
It is revealed.
Right here.
No president should fear public scrutiny of his program.
No president should fear scrutiny of his public program. Right? So it should be put out there in the public. It should be allowed to be looked at, look at it from the different angles, kind of see where it's at and leave it there. It's not something that should be that is the exact opposite of what is happening today. And it's, I mean, if we were to talk, we are not Trump apologists. We're not Trump supporters, those things, right? But the point is that if it can happen to one president, it can happen to any of them.
Mm-hmm.
And if it can happen to a president in this way, it means that there are powers that are beyond that in the United States. And that should make everyone fear. Well, I should say you shouldn't be fearful, right? But it should make you pause.
It makes you realize everything's controlled. Everything is controlled. And if something steps out of line, it gets the hammer, the tool is a hammer, everything's a nail.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I'll let this finish here.
For from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people.
Okay, so that just kind of round that out there. The idea is that the American people should be informed. They should know what's going on, so that they can make real decisions, right? Yeah. And that's definitely not what is taking place today at all.
No secrets. Everything's hidden, and then the information war, deception everywhere. Like you can't trust anything, man. I'm seeing all these videos of things in the sky. I don't know what to trust. I don't know what to believe anymore. All the deep fakes and everything. You just don't know what to believe. You really just don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah, honestly,
besides believe in Jesus.
Absolutely. What that means is it forces a lot of people who have never looked beyond something that's publicly displayed. They've never looked beyond that for any kind of knowledge or understanding or truth. Yeah. So if it was public knowledge, then that's good enough. Well, we're finding out that since the time of Kennedy, and it should be highlighted the fact that he, after saying, it wasn't like immediately after this, but he was assassinated. He died. In case you didn't know, President Kennedy was assassinated. But he was assassinated in light of all these different things that he was saying, that he was trying to expose, and his brother was as well, right? Yeah. So we're talking about a president who tried, and his son. I mean, it goes on, right? You say there's a Kennedy curse. Well, I think there's a lot of Kennedys who the torch is almost passed, and it's like, what do you do with it? What do you do with this hot potato? Yeah. Because I don't think it's a curse. I think it's they have too much information.
It's just like the Clinton curse, You get close to Clinton, you get whacked, you die. Yeah. Somehow you commit suicide, shooting yourself in the head 3 times.
Yeah, 2 shots to the head, and then you hung yourself. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, so there's a lot of those things going on. But here's the real question. Okay, so we're gonna put this out there. Knowledge of the fact that there are secret societies, and the fact that not all of the information is being disclosed. What does that mean for us trying to make decisions for ourselves, our family, and sort of our, if you want to say, for the future of our life here? Because we hope that we will be informed enough to be able to make a good decision. Right? That's kind of the point. And yet today, everything is politicized. I can't watch a TV show without having it be about politics. I can't read anything anymore without it being about politics. Mm-hmm. You can't enjoy going to a restaurant or everything. Every little thing is about politics. And if everything is about politics, you have to imagine that what Kennedy was warning about It has now seeped into all these different areas of society. There's nowhere to escape,
Yep.
except to maybe go.
Let's go to Uganda.
You could go. Well, you could go to Uganda. They're in scrutiny today, under scrutiny today too.
Yeah, I saw that.
We could go like lodge with the Amish, I guess.
Yeah, that's not bad. Or go to an Indian reservation. I'm sure there's different issues there.
There's different issues there too. But what is the implication there? What does that mean for us trying to relay information, thus trying to understand what's going on? What does that mean for you? What does that mean
That
for me?
means we take Paul's advice and we expose darkness. That's what we do. We just expose it the best we can.
That's definitely one course of action to take. So then you say, okay, so we hop on YouTube, we start doing a stream like this. We hop onto Twitter, we hop into these different places.
Talk to people.
What about when those different things are they're being shut down because of opposition?
Personal relationships with people, I guess, really all you can do at that point. There's nothing really, dude. Honestly, it's the idea of not having your faith in this world, because it's all just that's the more you walk around, you're like, all right, I'm just done here. I'm just done. Just fighting entropy every day, and then you have these secret societies doing stuff, and you have you're just done with it. Just done.
I think the idea that there is a group of people that are trying to control other people, we think we have buried that with history, that's gone. That today, if you want to do something, it's an open, clear runway, go do a thing. We don't have people trying to manipulate others or try to force that.
I don't know.
At least that's what I hear from other people when they're talking.
So crazy how you could think that. It's the fluoride in the water.
Right. Oh my gosh. There's so many different things that we could run to. But looking at this, it was after the assassination of Kennedy where you got the term conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, that's when the CIA put that out there. Really kind of make that a hot potato, like you're saying, hot potatoes.
Yeah, what do you do with that? What do you push with that? And that has worked for now decades.
It really has. That really did work well. That was very. They knew exactly what they're doing.
Game recognizes game.
Yep.
Right. You got to tip your hat where you can and say that was
they got us. They got us.
You got us there. And the whole concept of what a conspiracy theory is and what a conspiracy theorist is, I think, is in flux. And I think there are a few things that have helped that along the way. But one thing that I can say I am not looking forward to this next election cycle. I kind of want to just go read a book.
Yeah.
Kind of just want to leave the whole thing. And I think that might be part of the issue is there's enough clamoring that people just check out.
Yep, I agree with you.
But I guess we'll still be here doing stuff.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to look.
Got this from Mike Porter. I got to trust in God and know that he will take care of it. It's simple, but I can't control the powerful on earth. I can only trust in the ultimate power. And that is an amazing statement.
That's actually exactly how I wanted to end it. Just because of all the craziness and what's controlling this world and everything, you just trust in God. Truly. Like there's no other way. There really is no other way.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is a great sort of statement or notion to sort of end this stream. And just kind of the idea, and I'll throw this out there. There are a lot of people who think that they have chosen the neutral path. They've chosen the neutral path of materialism, and I'm not going to get mixed up in religion or spirituality or other things. Or some people have chosen that. Or they think if I just stay out of the popular ideas of religion and policy, I'm just gonna move forward this way in a materialistic kind of thing when they leave all those things off. I think we're past the time where you can say that there isn't an external force to the things that we are experiencing, that the things that we're seeing. There is some sort of organized thing, and I'm not saying that it's all human. It may be supernatural. It may be other, if you want to, if you're more comfortable in saying it's other dimensions, something else, but there's something else that's beyond this that is pushing, and you can see it in a lot of the other things that they are putting out in the media as far as, it's UFOs, it's UAPs. Let's look at I know you've wanted to talk about CERN for a long time and talk about some of the things that they're doing there, transhumanism, but all these different things, they're pushing this other side. Well, it's this other thing to look forward to, because very much, I'm going to put this back up from Mike. You can't control the powerful on Earth. You can't control them. However, you have to acknowledge that there are those who are attempting to control you.
Mm-hmm.
And the difficulty is to try to stay out of those streams. You can say the mainstream. Well, if the mainstream is this current that's pulling you and pushing you towards a waterfall, I'd say you got to get out of that stream.
Yep, I agree with you, man.
So there's going to be a lot of different pressures in a lot of different places. And I think one thing I hope that we'll be able to do over the next few months, whatever years, however the Lord allows us to stay on here or do whatever, is to try to not just expose darkness. Like you said, that's like step one, is to expose it. And then secondarily to say, what about thinking about these things differently? What if this might be a motive? What if this person isn't who they say they are? Just what if?
Mm-hmm.
The point's not to judge prematurely. The point is to keep that mind open and to understand those things so that we're able to make appropriate decisions.
Absolutely, man.
So
absolutely true, exactly.
That's right. And Mike Porter, you are far more strong than you thought you were, because you made it to the end of the stream. Anything you want to add here, Chewman, before we
I think that's a good way to end it, man. I think happy 322 day. We survived. We made it
through. That doesn't mean that there can't be more. You know, they always say beware the eyes of March.
Yeah.
And that's very true. And the next thing we got to look forward to is April.
Yeah.
April 1st. April 1st. April's also when you have Hitler's birthday. A lot of things happen around the 19th to 20th. So we'll do another.
Yeah, but then we got May Day after that.
May Day after that. Man, so many different things to look forward to.
It really is.
But yeah, we'll be here. We'll be talking about it. We'll be chatting it up. Chewman, have yourself a good evening. Mike Porter, you can go to sleep now. And as I always say, hey, Pilgrim on, my friends. See you out there.
God bless everybody.
Take care.